It was that kind of test match, isn't it? Which dangles hope in front of you and then just pulls it away towards the end. If the rain allowed India to leave Brisbane 1-1, India had the opportunity of going to Sydney 1-1 too. And I think it was a combination of many mistakes, but a batting meltdown on the last day. That means Australia go 2-1 to Sydney. India still have a chance, by the way, of retaining the Border Gavaskar Trophy. So let's not forget that even though the World Test Championship is gone, but India will have many more disappointments to pack in their bag on the last day of 2024. So as usual, we'll look at the top 5 events from my point of view. I'm going to have 2 honorable mentions at the end because this was a test match where so much happened, and I'm going to point to a trend that I saw at the end of 2024 as it gave way to 2025. So I'm not putting them in any order. Here are my 5 events of the test match. Sheer emotion around Nitish Reddy's century. Batted beautifully, by the way. He's batted very well right through the series. But as he approached the 100, all the drama that was happening, the wickets were falling at the other end. Then Bumrah gets out. Then Siraj comes in. He blocks for 3 balls. And a player who's being booed by Australia is actually being cheered on because all of Australia was behind Nitish Reddy. And then he got his 100. I mean, it meant just so much for the family, the scenes there. I was able to catch up with the family afterwards. They were overjoyed at being able to speak in Telugu to somebody. So as it turned out, it didn't help in saving the game, but for the sheer drama and emotion, Nitish Reddy was one of my 5 events of the game. Then there was the extraordinary ability of Australia. When they got a whiff, just a tiny little opportunity, they yanked the game wide open. Rishabh Pant is batting alongside Yashasvi Jaiswal, and the entire body language is starting to go flat. It looks like a draw's on the horizon, an entire session without losing a wicket. Then Rishabh Pant gives them that one opportunity, and the next thing you know is the game is over. And that is a skill that champions possess, that great players possess. We've seen India do that in the past, but today the manner in which Australia wrapped it up, whether it was Scott Boland, whether it was Pat Cummins, whether it was Nathan Lyon, it was fantastic. The pressure they applied, suddenly what seemed like a game headed for a draw looked like a very difficult game to save. I thought they showed their champion material in the way they closed the game. So that was the second of my top 5. Yashasvi Jaiswal, run out 82 in the first innings. In the second innings, he makes 84 out of 155 and looks completely at ease. Don't ever forget what a young player he is. But his composure, his temperament, his ability to adapt the game to the situation, I think we are looking at a star. And let me tell you the other point that I mentioned right at the start. I think we are starting to see a changing of the guard, a handing over of the baton. If you ask Australia today, which is the wicket that you want the most, I think the time has come for them to say Yashasvi Jaiswal. Before the series started, it was all about Kohli and Pant. There was a great deal of curiosity about Yashasvi, but I think through his performances here in Melbourne, he's shown that that changing of guard has now happened. Yashasvi Jaiswal is the wicket that Australia want. And then there were 2 performances that were just mind-blowing. Every time there is a crunch moment, and watch it right through 2024, you'll find one Australian there. His name is Pat Cummins. In this test match, 49, then 41, both crucial batting performances. I think we can start looking upon him as a bowling all-rounder in all earnest now. But then with the ball, 3 for 89 and 3 for 28 when the breakthrough is needed. That great ball to KL Rahul. Then he comes back and bowls that ball again. Then towards the end when the wickets were needed, there he comes, picks up the ball. I thought Pat Cummins was fantastic. Player of the match tends to go to the winning side. So no issues with that because he got the runs as well. That was the 4th of the 5 performances. But how can you look beyond Jasprit Bumrah? Incredible. In the first innings, came back, knocked 2 batters over. I know he conceded 99, but he wasn't getting a lot of support. He still picked up 4 wickets, still hasn't ever conceded 100 runs in an innings. And then in the second innings, It's 80 for 2. There's a little glimmer that comes in with a wicket, and then he comes in and just pulls the game out with a wicket of head, and then two magnificent deliveries to Marsh and to Alex Carey. I mean, I was on air when he got Carey, and I agree completely. Even as I think over what I said that day, he's making us run out of words. Watching Jasprit Bumrah in 2024 was just wow. So those are my top 5 from this phenomenal test match in Melbourne. As I said, there are 2 things I want to talk about beyond these 5. One was the debut of a 19-year-old called Sam Constance, and the realization very, very quickly that test cricket is very difficult when you've got great bowlers bowling at you. What he did in those first 45 minutes at the MCG was to take away the threat of Bumrah, set it up for everybody else, even for Khwaja, and just the freshness. Some of you might think, there he goes, being a bit of a show pony. No, man, he's just 19 years old. So I loved the arrival of Sam Constance in the crowd, the spectator at the Melbourne cricket ground. 370,000 to watch a test match at a time when test cricket is in peril in most parts of the world. Not in Australia, not in England, but in other parts of the world, including at some venues in India. We are struggling. But here we showed test cricket in all its glory. Good surface, typical match ending just around tea or thereafter on the last day. Had something for the batters almost throughout when the bowlers are willing to bowl well, something there, and the crowd just got into it. The spectator in Melbourne, fantastic. So there you are. That was my view on the test match in Melbourne. Wish all of you a fantastic 2025. There's a test match to go, and we'll do this after Sydney as well.
So thank you for watching, and do subscribe to this channel.